It was bequeathed me by will 1,000 crowns, and charged my brother to breed me well. And there begins my sadness. My brother Jacques he keeps at school, and stays me here at home unkept. His horses are bred better, but I, his brother, gain nothing under him. The spirit of my father, which I think is within me, begins to mutiny against this servitude. I will no longer endure it, though yet I know no wise remedy how to avoid it.
Now, sir, what make you here?
I am not taught to make anything.
Marry, sir, be better employed. Know you where you are, sir?
Oh, sir, here in your orchard.
Know you before whom, sir?
I know that you are my eldest brother, and you should know me. I have as much of my father in me as you. What, boy? Come, come, elder brother. You are too young in this.
Wilt thou lay hands on me, villain?
I am the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois. He was my father, and he is thrice a villain that says such a father begot villains. Wert thou not my brother, I would not take this hand from thy throat till this other had pulled out thy tongue for saying so.
Sweet masters, be patient.
My father charged you in his will to give me a good education, and you have treated me like a peasant. The spirit of my father grows strong in me, and I will no longer endure it. Therefore give me the poor lottery my father left me. With that I will buy my fortunes.
Well, sir, get you in. I will not long be troubled with you. I will have some part of your will. I pray you, leave me. Get you with him, old dog.
Is old dog my reward? Most true, I have lost my teeth in your service. God be with my old master. He would not have said such a word.
I will give no 1,000 crowns.
Charles, good morrow to your worship.
What's the new news at the new court?
The old duke is banished by his younger brother, the new duke.
Can you tell if Rosalind, the duke's daughter, be banished with her father?
Oh, no, for the duke's daughter, her cousin, so loves her that she would have followed her exile, or died to stay behind her. There at the court, and no less beloved of her uncle than his own daughter, and never two ladies loved as they do.
Where will the old duke live?
They say he's already in the forest of Ardmore, and a many merry men with him. There they live like the Robin Hood of England. They say many young gentlemen flock to him each day and fleet the time carelessly, as they did in the Golden World.
You wrestle tomorrow before the new duke?
Marry do I, sir. Your brother Orlando hath a disposition to come in disguised against me. He's but young and tender. I would be loath to foil him.
I tell thee, Charles, it is the stubbornest young fellow of France, a villainous contriver against me, his natural brother. I had as lief thou didst break his neck as his finger. For I assure thee, and almost with tears I speak it, there's not one so young and villainous this day living.
If he come, I'll give him his payment. God keep your worship.
Farewell, good Charles. My soul, yet I know not why, hates nothing more than Orlando. Yet he's gentle, full of noble device, all sorts of enchantingly beloved. But this wrestler shall clear all.
I pray thee, Rosalind, my cousin, be married.
Dear Celia, unless you could teach me to forget a banished father, you must not learn me to remember any extraordinary pleasure.
You know my father hath no child but I, and when he dies what he hath taken from thy father, I will render thee again. Therefore, my sweet Rose, be married.
I will, coz. And devise sports? Let me see. What think you of falling in love?
Love no man in earnest. Here comes Monsieur Lebeau.
Fair princess, you have lost much good sport.
Sport? Of what color?
Color, madame, how shall I answer you? I would have told you of good wrestling, and here where you are, they are coming to perform it.
Shall we see this wrestling, cousin?
You must if you stay here, for here's the place appointed for it.
Yonder, sure, they're coming. Let us stay and see it.
Is yonder the man?
Even he, madame.
He is too young.
How now, daughter and cousin, but you crept hither to see the wrestling.
Aye, my liege.
You will take little delight in it, and pity the challenger's youth. I will dissuade him, but he will not be entreated. Speak to him, ladies. See if you can move him.
Good sir.
Have you challenged Charles the wrestler?
I come as others do to try the strength of my youth.
You have seen cruel proof of this man's strength. We pray you, for your own sake, give over this attempt.
Do, young sir. We will make it our suit to the Duke that the wrestling might not go forward.
If I be foiled, there is but one shame that was never gracious. If killed, but one dead that is willing to be so. In the world, I fill up a place which may be better supplied when I have made it empty.
Fare you well. The little strength I have, I would it were with you.
Where is this young gallant who's so desirous to lie with his mother, Earth?
And you mean to mock me after you should not have mocked me before. But come your ways.
Now Hercules be thy speed, young man. Oh, excellent, young man.
No more! No more! How dost thou, Charles?
He cannot speak, my lord.
Bear him away. What is thy name, young man?
Orlando, my liege, the youngest son of Sir Roland de Bois.
I would hadst thou been son to some man else. The world esteemed thy father honorable, but it find him still mine enemy. Thou would better please me with this deed, hadst thou descended from another house.
I am proud to be Sir Roland's son, his youngest son, and would not change that calling.
My father loves Sir Roland as his soul.
Sir, you're well deserved.
Gentlemen, wear this for me. Shall we go, cousin?
Aye, fare you well, fair gentlemen.
Can I not say I thank you? My better parts are all thrown down.
He calls us back. I'll ask him what he would. Did you call, sir? Sir, you have wrestled well and overthrown more than your enemies.
Here you go.
Have with you. Fare you well.
Oh, what passion hangs these weights upon my tongue! I cannot speak to her, yet she urged conference. Oh, poor Orlando, thou art overthrown.
Good sir, leave this place. The Duke misconstrues all you have done.
Which of the two was daughter of the Duke?
The youngest was his daughter, the other was daughter to the banished Duke. Fare you well.
Fare you well. Thus must I from the smoke into the smother, from a tyrant Duke unto a tyrant brother. But heavenly Rosalind.
Why, Rosalind, why, cuz, is all this for your father?
No, some of it is for my child's father.
Is it possible, in such a son, who fond to such a strong liking in old Sir Roland's youngest son?
The Duke, my father, loved his father dearly.
By this kind of chase, I should hate him, for my father hated his father dearly.
No, Faith, hate him not. Love him for my sake. Look, here comes the Duke.
His eyes full of anger.
Mistress, dispatch you with your safest case and get you from our court.
Me, uncle?
You, cousin, when these 10 days thou beest found so near a public court as 20 miles, thou diest for it.
I do beseech your grace. Let me the knowledge of my fault bear with me.
You're your father's daughter, there's enough.
My father was no traitor!
We stayed her for your sake, else that she would her father arranged a law.
If she be a traitor, why so am I?
She is too subtle for thee. Her silence, her patience, her very smoothness speaks to the people. She robs thee of thy name, and thou wilt see more fair and more virtuous when she is gone. Firm, irrevocable is my doom. She is banished.
Pronounce that sentence then on me, my liege. I cannot live out of her company.
You are a fool! Eunice, provide yourself! If thou outstays the time, you die.
Let my father seek another heir. Say what thou canst, or go along with me.
Whither shall we go?
To seek my uncle in the forest garden.
Alas, what danger will it be to us maids as we are to travel forth so far? Beauty provoketh thieves sooner than gold.
I'll put myself in poor and mean attire, the like to use, and we shall pass along and never stir assailants.
Were it not better, because that I am more than common tall, that I did suit thee at all points like a man?
What shall I call thee when thou art a man?
Ganymede! But what will you be called?
No longer Celia, but Elena.
Ooh, but cuz, what if we essayed to steal the clownish fool out of your father's court? Would he not be a comfort to our travel?
Oh, he'll go over the wide world with me. Leave me alone to woo him. Now we go in content, to liberty, and not to banishment.
Oh, my gentle master.
Why, how now, Adam? What's the matter?
Your brother hath heard your praises, and this night he means to burn the lodging where you used to lie, and you within it. Do not enter it. I have 500 crowns. All this I give you. Let me be your servant. Though I look old, yet I am strong and lusty. For in my youth I never did apply hot and rebellious liquors to my blood. I'll do the service of a younger man.
Oh, good old man, thou art not for the fashion of these times. We'll go along together.
Oh, master, go on. I will follow thee to the last gasp of truth and loyalty. From 17 years till now, almost 80 here lived I, and now live here no more. At 17 years, many their fortune seek, but at 80 it is too late a week.
Not for my spirits if my legs were not weary.
Courage, good Elena. I pray you bear with me. I cannot go no further.
I'd rather bear with you than bear you.
Well, this is the forest of Arden.
Aye, now am I in Arden. The more fool I. When I was at home, I was in a better place, but travelers must be content.
Look you, who comes here?
If thou rememberst not the slightest folly that ever love made thee run into, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not sat as I do now, wherein thy hearer thy mistress praise, thou hast not loved. Or if thou hast not broke from company abruptly, as my passion now makes me, thou hast not loved. Oh, Phoebe, Phoebe, Phoebe.
The shepherd's passion is much upon my fashion.
And mine, but it grows something stale with me.
Question yon man if he for gold will give us any food. I think almost to death.
I prithee, shepherd, bring us where we may rest and feed. Here's a young maid which travel much oppressed who almost faints for succor.
I wish my fortunes were able to relieve her, and at my sheepcote now, there's nothing that you will feed on, but what is conceived, most welcome you shall be.
You would make me melancholy, Monsieur Jacques.
And I thank it. I can suck the melancholy of a song as a weasel sucks eggs. More, prithee, more.
Well, end the song. Sirs, cover the while. The Duke will drink under the street. He hath been all this day to look you.
I have been all this day to avoid him. He is too disputable for my tastes. I think of as many matters as he, but I make heaven's thanks and make no boast of them. Come, Warble, come.
Who doth ambition shine and lust career? I, the sun, seeking the food he eats and pleased with what he has. Come hither,
verse to this I made not yesterday, and despite of my own invention.
And we will go seek the Duke. His banquet is prepared.
Dear master, I can go no further. Oh, I die for food. Here lie I down and measure out my grave.
Why, how now, Adam, live a little. If this uncouth forest yield anything savage, I will either be food for it or bring it for food to thee. Hold death a while at the arm's end. I will here be with thee presently. Yet thou liest in the bleak air, come. I will bear thee to some shelter, and thou shalt not die for lack of a dinner. Cheerly, good Adam.
Now, my co-mates and brothers in exile, are not these woods more free from peril than the envious court? Here we feel but the penalty of Adam, the season's difference as the icy fang, and the churlish chiding of the wintry wind, which, when it bites and blows upon my body, I but smile and say, these are counsels, that feelingly persuade me what I am. Sweet are the uses of adversity, and this, our life, exempt from public harm, finds tongues in trees, books in the running brooks, sermons in stones, and good in everything. Why, how now, monsieur? You look merrily.
A fool. I met a fool in the forest. A motley fool, one that hath been a courtier. Oh, that I were foolish. I am ambitious for a motley coat.
And thou shalt have one.
Invest in my motley and give me leave to speak my mind, and I will cleanse thy foul body of the infected world.
Thou thyself hast been a libertine.
Forbear and eat no more.
Why, I have eaten none yet.
Forbear, I say. He dies that touches any of this fruit till I and my affairs are answered.
As you will not be answered with reason, I must die.
What would you have? Your gentleness shall force more than your force move us to gentleness.
I almost died for food, and let me have it.
Sick, feed, and welcome to our table.
Pardon me, I thought that all things had been savage here. But forbear your food a little while. There is an old man in the forest who after me hath limped in pure love. Till he first be sufficed, I will not touch a bit.
Go, seek him out. We will nothing waste till you return. Thou seest, we are not all alone unhappy. This wide and universal theater presents more woeful pageants than the scene wherein we play.
All the world's a stage. All the men and women merely players, having their entrances and their exits. A man in his time playing many parts, his acts being 7 ages. First, the infant, mewling and puking in nurse's arms, and the schoolboy, with his satchel and shining morning face, crawling like a snail unwillingly to school. And then the lover, sighing like a furnace with a woeful ballad made out to his mistress's eyebrow. And then the soldier, jealous in honor and sudden and quick to quarrel. And then the justice, with fair round belly and good cap of mind, full of wise saws and modern instances. The 6th age slips into the lean and slippered pantaloon, spectacles on nose, pouch on side, and his big, manly voice, turning once more to childish trebles, whistles and pipes in a sound. Last of all, and so ends this strange, eventful history, comes second childishness and oblivion. Sans teeth, sans eyes, sans taste, sans everything.
Welcome. Set down your venerable burden and let him feed.
I thank you most for her.
So had you need. I scarce can speak to thank you for myself.
Welcome. Fall to. I will not yet trouble you as to question you about your fortunes, but rather give us some music. Good cousin, sing.
Blow, blow that winter wind, thou art not so unkind as man's ingratitude. Thy tooth is not so keen, because thou art not seen, although thy breath be rude. Hi-ho, sing hi-ho, unto the green holly. Most friendship is fleeting, most of winter folly. Then hi-ho, the holly, this life is most jolly.
good Sir Roland's son? Be truly welcome hither, for I am the Duke that loved your father. Good old man, give me your hand, and let me all your fortunes understand.
Not seen him since? Sir, that cannot be. Find out thy brother. Bring him dead or living, or thy lands do be seized into our hands.
Oh, that your highness knew my heart in this. I never loved my brother in my life.
More villain thou! Do this expediently.
Hang there my verse in witness of my love. And thou, thrice-crowned queen of night, survey with thy chaste eye from thy pale sphere above, thy huntress maid that my full life doth sway. O Rosalind, these trees shall be my books, and in their barks my thoughts all character, that every eye which in this forest looks shall see thy virtue witnessed everywhere. Run, run, Orlando, and carve on every tree the fair, the chaste, and unexpressive she.
And how like the shepherd's life, Master Touchstone?
Truly, shepherd, in respect of itself, it is a good life, but in respect it is a shepherd's life, it is not. In respect it is solitary, I like it very well, but in respect it is private, it is a very vile life. Now, in respect it is in the fields, it pleaseth me well, but in respect it is not in court, it is tedious. As is it a spare life, look you, it fits my humor well, but as there's no more plenty in it, it goes much against my stomach. Wast ever in court, shepherd?
No, truly.
And thou art damned.
Nay, I hope.
And truly, thou art damned, like an ill-roasted egg, all on one side.
For not being at court, no reason.
If thou never wast at court, thou never sawest good manners. If thou never sawest good manners, thy manners must be wicked, and wickedness is sin. Sin is damnation. Thou art in a perilous state, shepherd.
You too courtly a wit for me. I'll rest.
Wilt thou rest damned? God help thee, shallow man. God make incision in thee. Oh, here comes young Master Gammon.
From the east to western end, no jewel is like Rosalind. Her worth being mounted on the wind, through the world bears Rosalind. All the pictures fairest lined are but black to Rosalind. Let no fair be kept in mind, but the fair of Rosalind.
All ran you so 8 years together, for a taste. Winter garments must be lined, so must slender Rosalind. Sweetest nut hath sourest rind, such a nut is Rosalind. He that sweetest rose will find, must find love's prick and Rosalind. This is a very false gallop of verses.
I found them on a tree.
Truly, the tree yields a bad fruit.
Did thou hear these verses?
Oh, yes.
Was thou wondering how thy name should be hanging and carved upon these trees? Try you have done this?
Is it a man?
And the chain that you once wore about your neck, change your color?
Nay, tell me who it is.
Oh, wonderful, wonderful, and yet again wonderful.
Take the cork out of thy mouth, that I may drink thy tidings.
So you may put a man in your belly.
What manner of man? Is his head worth a hat, his chin worth a beard?
Nay, he hath little beard.
Let me stay in the growth of his beard if thou delay me not the knowledge of his chin.
It is young Orlando that tripped up the wrestler's heels and your heart, both in an instant.
Nay, let the devil take my speak sad brow and true name.
My faith, 'cause 'tis he.
Orlando.
Orlando.
Alas the day! What shall I do with my doublet nose? What did he when thou sawest him? What said he? How looked he? Where went he? What makes him here? Did he ask for me? Where remains he? When shalt thou see him again? Answer me in one word.
To say I know to these particulars is more than to answer in a catechism.
But doth he know that I am in this forest? And in man's apparel? Looks he as freshly as he did the day he wrestled?
I found
It may well be called Job's tree when it drops forth such fruit.
Give me audience, good madam.
Proceed.
There he lay, stretched along like a wounded knight.
Though it be pity to see such a sight, will becomes the ground.
For I hollow to thy tongue, I would sing my song without word. Thou bringest me out of tune.
Do you not know I am a woman? When I think, I must speak.
You bring me out.
So, comes he not here? 'Tis he.
Sleep by and go to.
Let us meet as little as we can.
I do desire that we may be better strangers.
Mar no more trees by writing love songs in their barks.
Mar no more of my verses with reading them ill-favored.
Rosalind is your love's name?
Yes.
Well, I do not like her name.
There was no thought of pleasing you when she was christened.
And what stature is she of?
Just as high as my heart.
You're full of pretty answers. I was seeking a fool when I met you.
He is drowned in the brook. Look in and you shall see him.
There I shall see mine own figure.
Which I take to be a fool.
I'll tarry with you no longer. Farewell, good Signor Love.
Adieu, good Monsieur Melancholy.
I will speak to him like a saucy lackey, and under that habit, play the knave with him. Do you hear, Forester? What is his clock?
You should ask me what time of day. There's no clock in the forest.
Then there is no lover in the forest, else sighing every minute and groaning every hour would detect time as well as a clock.
Where dwell you, good youth?
Here, with the shepherdess, my sister, in the skirts of the forest.
Your accent is something finer.
Indeed. An old, religious uncle of mine taught me to speak, who was in his youth an inland man, one that knew courtship too well, for there he fell in love. I have heard him read many a lecture against it, and
I thank God I am not a woman. To be touched with so many giddy offenses as he hath generally taxed their whole sex withal.
Can you remember the evils that he laid to women?
no, I will not cast away my physique, but on those that are sick. There is a man haunts the forest, abuses our young friends with carving Rosalind into their barks, hangs odes upon hawthorns and elegies upon brambles, all, forsooth, deifying the name of Rosalind. If I could meet such a fancy monger, I would give him some mood counsel, for he seems to have the quotidian of love upon him.
I am he that is so love-shaped.
My uncle taught me to know a man in love. You are not.
What were his marks?
A lean cheek, which you have not. A blue eye, and sunken, which you have not. And then your hose should be ungartered, your shoe untied, your sleeve unbuttoned, and everything about you demonstrating a careless desolation. You are no such man. But are you he that hangs the verses on the trees?
I am that unfortunate he.
And are you so in love as your rhymes speak?
Neither rhymes nor reason can express how much.
Love is merely a madness. Yet, I profess curing it.
Did you ever cure any?
Yes, one. He was to imagine me his love, his mistress, and I set him every day to woo me, at which point I would be changeable. Proud, apish, shallow, full of tears, full of smiles, now like him, now loathe him, then entertain him, then forswear him, and in this way I cured him. And in this way will I wash your liver clean.
With all my heart, good youth.
I will cure you, if you will but call me Rosalind and come every day to woo.
I will, youth.
Nay, but you must call me Rosalind. Come, sister. Will you go?
Come apace, good Audrey.
Am I the man yet?
What?
Truly, I would the gods had made thee poetical.
I do not know what poetical is. Is it honest?
No, truly.
Would you not have me honest?
No, truly.
A material fool. Well, I'm not fair, and therefore I pray the gods to make me honest.
Truly, to cast away honesty upon a foul slut were to put good meat into an unclean dish.
I am not a slut. Though I thank the gods that I am foul.
Well, praise be the gods for thy foulness. Slutishness may come hereafter, but I will marry thee. Sir Oliver Martex, the vicar, hath promised to meet me in this place, and to couple us.
I shall see this meeting, while the gods give us joy.
Amen. Here comes Sir Oliver.
Is there none here to give the woman? She must be giver of the marriage not lawful.
Proceed, I'll give her.
You are very well met.
Will you be married, Motley?
As the ox hath his bow, sir, so a man hath his desires.
Get you to church and get a good priest. He will but join you together as they join wainscot until one of you proves the shrub panel and like green timber warps. Warps!
He is not like to marry me well, and not being well married, it will be a good excuse for me hereafter to leave my wife.
Let me counsel thee.
Come, sweet Audrey, we must be married or we must live in Baudry. Oh, brave Oliver, I will not to wedding with thee.
'Tis no matter.
Never talk to me. I will weep.
Have the grace to consider that tears do not become a man.
But have I not cause to weep?
As good a cause as one would desire, therefore weep.
But why did he say he would come this morning and comes not?
There is no truth in him.
Not true in love?
Yes, when he is in, but I think he's not in.
You have heard him swear he was.
Was is not is. He writes brave verses, speaks brave words, swears brave oaths, and prays bravely.
Sweet Phoebe, do not scorn me.
Thou tellest me there is murder in mine eye. Now I do frown on thee with all my heart. And if mine eyes can wound, let them kill me. For I am sure there is no force in eyes that can do harm. Come not near me, I shall not pity thee.
Who might be your mother, that you insult, exult, and all at once over the wretched? What? Though you have no beauty, must you therefore be proud and pitiless? Why? What means this? Why do you look on me? I think she means to tangle my eyes too. No, faith, proud mistress, hope not after it. 'Tis not your inky brows, your bugle eyeballs that can attain my spirits to your worship. You are 1,000 times a properer man than she a woman. 'Tis such fools as you that makes the world so full of ill-favored children. But mistress, know yourself, down on your knees and thank heaven fasting for a good man's love. For I must tell you, friendly in your ear, sell when you can. You are not for all markets.
Sweet youth, I'd rather hear you chide than this man woo.
He's fallen in love with your foulness, and she'll fall in love with my anger. If it be so, as fast thou sauce her with bitter words as she enters thee with frowning looks, I pray you do not fall in love with me, for I am falser than vows made in wine. Besides, I like you not. Shepherd, ply your heart. Shepherdess, look on him better.
Good day and happiness, dear Rosalind.
Why, how now, Orlando? Where have you been all this while? You a lover, and if you serve such another trick, come no more in my sight.
My fair Rosalind, I come within an hour of my promise.
And if you be so tardy, never come in my sight more. But I am your Rosalind. Come, woo me, for I am now in a holiday humor and like enough to consent. Am I not your Rosalind? Well, in her own person, I will not have you.
Then in my own person I die.
No, Faith, the poor world is almost 6,000 years old, and in all that time there was never a man died for a loved one. Men have died from time to time, and worms have eaten them, but not for love. But I will be your Rosalind in a more coming-on disposition. Ask me what you will.
Love me, Rosalind.
Yes, Fridays and Saturdays and all.
And wilt thou have me?
And 20 such.
What?
Are you not good?
I hope so.
Why then can one desire too much of a good thing? Come, sister, you will be the priest and marry us. Take my hands, Orlando. What do you say, sister?
I cannot say the words.
Will you?
Will you, Orlando, have to wife this Rosalind?
I will.
I would. When?
Why now? As fast as she can marry us.
Then you must say, I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
I take thee, Rosalind, for wife.
And how long will you have me?
Forever and a day.
Say day without the other. No, Orlando, men are April when they woo, December when they wed. will be jealous, clamorous, giddy. I will weep for nothing when you are inclined to be merry. I will laugh when you are disposed to sleep.
But will my Rosalind do this?
She will do as I do.
Aye, but she is wise.
Else she would not have the wit to do this. Make the doors on a woman's wit and pull out the casement. Shut that and pull out the keyhole. Stop that and pull out with the smoke at the chimney.
For these 2 hours I will leave him. By 2 o'clock I will lead him with me again.
I knew what you would prove. My friends told me as much, and so come, death! 2 o'clock is your hour?
Aye, sweet Rosalind.
If you come a minute beyond your hour, I will think you the most unworthy of she you call Rosalind, so keep your promise.
Oh, my pretty little coz, thou didst know how deep I am in love, but my affections hath an unknown palm,
like the Bay of Portugal.
Or rather bottomless, that as fast as you pour affection in, it runs out.
I cannot be out of a line of sight.
I'll find a shadow and sigh till he comes.
I'll sleep.
Which is he that killed the deer?
Sir, it was I.
Well, let us present him to the Duke. Have you no song, Forester?
Yes, sir. I shall sing it, though it may not be in tune. I shall make my vow.
What shall he have that killed the deer? His leather skin and horns to wear, and sing him home, the wretch shall bear this burden. Take thou no scorn to wear the horn, it was the crest and thou wast torn. Thy father's father bore it, and thy father bore it, the horn, the lusty horn, is not a thing to laugh to scorn.
Whoever loved that loved not at first sight? Silvus! Since thou canst talk of love so well, thy company I will endure, and I'll employ thee too. But do not look for recompense.
You lose now and then. A scattered smile, and that I'll live upon.
Knowest thou the youth that spoke to me?
Not very well.
It is a pretty youth, though not very pretty. He's not very tall, yet for his years he is tall. His leg is but so-so, and yet 'tis well. There be some women would have gone near to fall in love with him. I'll write him a very taunting letter, and thou shalt bear it. Wilt thou, Silvus?
Phoebe, with all my heart.
I'll write it straight. The matter is in my head and heart. I will be bitter with him in passing still. Go with me, Silvus.
Is it not past 2 o'clock? He hath taken his bow and arrows and gone forth to sleep.
My gentle Phoebe, let me give you this.
She says I am not fair, that I lack manners. Well, shepherd, well. This is a letter of your own device.
No, Phoebe did write it.
'Tis a man's invention.
It is hers.
Will you hear the letter?
So please you, for I never heard it yet. Yet heard too much of Phoebe's cruelty.
Art thou God, to shepherd turned, that a maiden's heart hath burned? Can a woman rail thus? He that brings this love to thee, little knows this love in me. And by him seal up thy mind, whether that thy youth and kind will my faithful offer take of me and all that I can make, or else by him my love deny, and then I'll study how to die.
Call you this railing?
Alas, poor shepherd.
Wilt thou love such a woman? Well, if she love me, I charge her to love thee. If she will not, I will never have her.
Pray you, where in this forest lays a sheepgoat fenced about with olive trees?
West of this place, but at this hour there's none within.
I know you by description. Are you not the owners of the house?
We are.
Orlando doth commend unto you both, and to that youth he calls his Rosalind. He gives this bloody napkin. Are you he?
I am. What must we understand by this?
Some of my shame. Orlando left a promise to return, and pacing through the forest, lo, what befell! Under an oak, a wretched, ragged man lay sleeping upon his back. About his neck, a green and gilded snake hath wreathed itself, who with her head approached the opening of his mouth. But suddenly, seeing Orlando, it did slip away into a bush, under which a lioness lay couching. This seeing Orlando did approach the man, and found it was his brother, his elder brother.
I have heard him speak of that brother, the most unnatural amongst men.
Well, I know it was unnatural.
But Orlando, did he leave him there, food to the hungry lioness?
Twice did he turn his back, but kindness, nobler ever than revenge, made him give battle to the lioness who quickly fell before him, in which, hurtling from miserable slumber, I awaked.
Are you that brother?
I do not shame to tell you what it was, since my conversion so sweetly tastes, being the thing I am. Upon his arm, the lioness had torn some flesh away. All this while I bled. I bound his wound. He sent me hither to tell the story, and to give this napkin unto the shepherd youth that he in sport doth call his Rosalind.
Why, how no Ganymede? Sweet Ganymede.
Swoon.
There is more in it.
I would I were home.
You lack a man's heart.
Tell your brother how well I counterfeited.
This was not counterfeit. There's too great testimony in your complexion that it was a passion of earnest.
Counterfeit, I assure you.
Well, counterfeit to be a man.
So I do.
Good sir, go with us?
That will I.
But I pray you, commend my counterfeiting. Will you go?
Shall find a time, Audrey.
Hey, the priest was good enough.
A most wicked Sir Oliver. But, Audrey, there is a youth in the forest who lays claim to you.
Aye, here comes the man you need. Good evening, William.
Is thy name William?
Ready, sir.
You love this maid?
Why do so?
Give me your Art thou learned?
No, sir.
Then learn this. Drink being poured out of a cup into a glass by filling the one doth empty the other. For all your writers do consent that Ips is he. Now, you are not Ips, for I am he.
Which he, sir?
He, sir, that must marry this woman. Therefore, you clown abandon, which is in the vulgar leave, the society, which in the boorish is company, of this female, which in the common is woman, which together is, abandon the society of this female, or clown, thou perishest, or to thy better understanding diest, or to wit, I kill thee, I will deal in poison with thee, or in steel, I will o'errun thee with policy, I will kill thee 150 ways, therefore, tremble and depart.
Good William.
God bless you, Mary, sir.
Drink, Audrey. I attend.
Is it possible that on so little acquaintance you should like her? That would seem you should love her, and loving woo, and wooing she should grant?
I love Elena, and it shall be to your good, for all that revenue that was old Sir Roland's will I estate upon you, and here live and die a shepherd.
Have my consent. Let your wedding be tomorrow. Invite the Duke and all his followers.
God save you, brother.
And you, fair sister?
My dear Orlando, how it grieves me to see thee wear thy heart in a scarf.
It is my arm.
I thought thy heart had been wounded with the claws of a lion.
Wounded it is, with the eyes of a lady.
Did your brother tell you how I counterfeited to swoon?
And greater wonders than that.
Aye, for your brother and my sister no sooner met but they loved. No sooner loved than they asked one another the reason. No sooner knew the reason than they sought the remedy.
They shall be married tomorrow. and so much the more shall I be heart heavy.
Why then, tomorrow I cannot serve your turn for Rosalind?
I can live no longer by thinking.
I will weary you no longer with idle talking. Know of me then, for now I speak to some purpose, that I know you are a gentleman of good conceit. If you love Rosalind, when your brother marries Elena, shall you marry her?
Speakest thou in sober meanings?
I do, by my life which I tender dearly, though I say I am a magician. Look, there comes a lover of mine, and a lover of her.
You don't be much ungentleness.
I fear not. Look on him, love him, he worships you.
Good shepherd, tell this youth what 'tis to love.
It is to be all made of sighs and tears. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
So am I for no woman.
It is to be all made of faith and service. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
It is to be all made of fantasy, all made of passion, and all made of wishes, all humbleness, all patience, and impatience. And so am I for Phoebe.
And so am I for Ganymede.
And so am I for Rosalind.
And so am I for no woman.
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
If this be so, why blame you me to love you?
Who do you speak to? Why blame you me to love you?
Her that is not here, doth not hear.
No more of this. 'Tis like the howling of Irish wolves against the moon. I would help you if I can. I would love you if I could. Tomorrow meet me all here together. I will marry you. If ever I marry a woman, and I'll be married tomorrow. I will satisfy you. If ever I satisfy a man, and you will be married tomorrow. I will content you, if what pleases you contents you, and you will be married tomorrow. As you love Phoebe, meet. As you love Rosalind, meet. And as I love no woman, I'll meet.
I will not fail if I live.
Nor I.
Nor I.
Country, tomorrow will we be married?
Oh, I do desire with all my heart, and I hope it is of no dishonest desire to be a woman of the world.
Dost thou believe, O man, the boy can do all he hath promised?
I sometimes do and sometimes do not.
Patience once more. You say if I bring you your daughter, you will bestow her on Orlando?
That will I.
And you will have her.
That will I.
You say you'll marry me.
That will I.
But if you do refuse to marry me, you will give yourself to this most faithful shepherd. So is the bargain. Keep you your word. From hence I go to make these doubts all even.
I do remember in this shepherd voice some lively touches of my daughter's favor.
There is surely another flood, and all the couples are coming to the ark. Here now is a pair of strange beasts in all tongues called fools.
Salutation and greeting to you all. I press in here, sir, amongst the rest of the country copulatives, to swear and forswear a poor virgin, sir, an ill-favored thing, sir, but mine own.
Is not a rare fellow, my lord?
A rare fellow indeed.
The time sits here. Good Duke, receive thy daughter. Hymen from heaven brought her, that thou mightst join her hand with his, whose heart within her bosom is.
To you I give myself, for I am yours. To you I give myself, for I am yours.
If there be truth in sight, you are my daughter.
If there be truth in sight, you are my Rosalind.
If sight and shape be true, why then my love do? I will not eat my words, thou art mine.
Peace! 'Tis I must make conclusion of these most strange events. You and you no cross shall part. You and you are heart and heart. You to his love must accord, or have a woman to your lord. You and you are sure together, as the winter to foul weather.
Let me have audience for a word or two. I, hearing how that every day men of great worth restored to this forest, address a mighty power, purposely to take my brother here and put him to the sword. And so to the skirt of this wild wood I have come, for meeting with an old religious man, and after some questions with him, I am converted, both from my enterprise and from the world. My crown, bequeathing to you my banished brother and all your lands restored to you again, that were with you all exiled.
Welcome, young brother. First in this forest, let us do those ends that here were well begun and well begot. And after, every of this happy number shall share in the good of our returned fortune. Meantime, forget this newfound dignity and fall into our rustic revelry. Play music. We will begin these rites as we do trust they'll end in true delights.
And good plays prove the better with the addition of a good epilogue. What a case am I in then? That I am neither a good epilogue nor can insinuate with you on behalf of a good play. I am not furnished like a beggar, therefore to beg would not become. My way is to conjure you, and I'll begin with the women. I charge you, O women, for the love you bear to men, to like as much of this play as please me. And I charge you, O men, for the love you bear to women, for I perceive by your simpering none of you hates them, that between you and the women the play shall please. If I was a woman, I would kiss as many of you as had beards that liked me, complexions that pleased me, and breaths that I defied not. And I am sure as many of you as have good faces, or good beards, or sweet breaths, will, for my kind offer, when I make curtsy, bid me farewell.